again with another episode of Solid Gear. Now today I got a really exciting review of something that I've been wanting to review for a really long time now. This is my Generation 4 Glock 17 in flat dark earth. I've had this handgun now for about 6 months. I've been absolutely shooting it just as much as I could. Got several thousand rounds through it now. And because it's a Generation 4 and there are some significant upgrades over the Generation 3 line of Glock handguns, I wanted to just go over some of those really quickly. First off, I wanted a flat dark earth Glock for a really long time. In Generation 3s, there were limited production aftermarket type company, I believe called Lipsy's, who did them. So they were almost impossible to find. Give credit to Glock, in Generation 4, they actually started producing some handguns in flat dark earth, so it was much easier for me to get my hands on one. Having shot Glock 19, Glock 23 for a long time, I was interested in moving up to the original 17 in a full frame, and I've been rewarded with a really great handgun here. So let's just briefly talk about the differences in Generation 3 and Generation 4 handguns, and specifically with regard to this Glock 17. Glock sort of answered some of the requests, I guess, that a lot of the shooting community had in improving the Glock handgun. First off, you can't really see it on this one, but the grip texture on the frame of the handgun is completely different on the Generation 4. It has sort of little spikes on it, or textured little knobs, which in my opinion, as you can see, I've covered up with a Talon Grip. I really did not like those as well, but having had a couple of Generation 4 handguns already, I knew that when I got this handgun. So, you know, it wasn't a deal breaker by any means, but if you want to conceal this handgun against your body, I can tell you those bumps do get a little uncomfortable after a while. So I went with the Talon Grip, which is what I typically do on my Glocks, and it's actually now very, very comfortable in my hand. The most exciting thing that I will say most exciting feature about the Generation 4 that they have added are these removable beaver tail back straps. The feel of a 1911 handgun has always been the best for many, many shooters. The way that back strap or that beaver tail feels right up in between your thumb and first finger, it just feels like the gun fits there, it's made to go there, and it makes your grip repeatable every time. So Glock really hit a home run when they included the 3 adjustable back straps. And I'm using the medium contour here. Being someone who has smaller hands, this feels perfect to me and feels much better than some of the other aftermarket beaver tail back straps that I've tried on some of my other Glocks. To me, this is the best feature of this Generation 4 handgun. Again, also, you can see here that the magazine release is now oversized. It's much easier to engage with your thumb, especially, like I said, if you're someone like me who has small hands. It's easier for me to get that thumb up there and drop the magazine. Again, something that people have been doing aftermarket-wise for years in Glocks. Glock decided to just go ahead and do it from the factory. Also, I think that the double recoil spring actually also is a very, very good feature of this handgun. Prior to now, only the subcompacts, the 26 and 27 in the Glock line of handguns had the double recoil spring to help with muzzle flip because the handguns are so small. Glock incorporated that technology into all their Generation 4s now, and it really does make a difference. I will honestly say this Generation 4 Glock 17 shoots better than my Generation 3 competition 34 that I use. I don't know if it has completely to do with the double recoil spring, but I know that it helps. So I'm very much in favor of that change as well. Also, Glock introduced a new trigger connector in this series of handguns called the dot connector. It's about a 5.5 pound of pull trigger connector. Prior to that, I think the minus connector was probably the most sought after connector for Glock triggers. It was a 3.5 pound and emulated by various aftermarket companies in the 3.5 pound connector. Ghost, Lone Wolf are just some of the makers. I actually switched out my dot connector with a 3.5 Ghost rocket, and this trigger is amazing right from the factory. There is a slight change to the trigger bar. There's a new sort of a little metal bump on the side of the trigger bar, which actually sort of causes some friction inside of the slide here as you're pulling it. If you ever get inside your handgun and work on the trigger, you'll see that. And I actually think it makes it a better trigger because it's just the right amount of friction that it makes the trigger pull very smooth. It's not gritty. There's no unknown take up in it. Like, it's very repeatable, and you know exactly where the trigger is going to break every single time, and you don't have to spend a lot of time and money messing around with the trigger. So I think that Glock did a good job in getting this Generation 4 trigger very good right out of the box. As you can see, I immediately replaced the sights on this handgun. Not a big fan of Glock factory sights at all. They're plastic and cheap, and the line and dot system is not very easy for my eye to see. So I replaced those with these Warren Tactical front fiber optic and rear narrow slit competition Warren Savigny competition sights, and I love them. This is a great handgun. It's very easy to shoot. I run it with a TLR1 HL light, both for personal defense and also because it helps me shoot the handgun a little bit better. So this is a setup that I really love. This is my favorite handgun right now. I love the color also. The flat dark earth looks really good. The combination of color that they got on this polymer frame was perfect. So this is a short review of the Glock Generation 4 G17. My favorite handgun now. It's easy to conceal. I'm concealing it here in a Raven Phantom outside the waistband holster, which fits right up snug against the body and goes under a light jacket or a sweater like I'm wearing today. And this handgun is very easy to shoot, very easy to get on target. And 9mm, not a lot of recoil, easy to get back on target, easy to shoot very, very accurate shots. So this is a glowing review of the 4th generation Glock 17 in this episode of Solid Gear. If you like this review in this episode, please hit that like button for me. And as always, subscribe to my channel. Once again, this is Mac. Be safe, and we'll see you next time.